Welcome to my video on the Loupedeck Plus. The Loupedeck Plus is what you see in front of me. It is tactile controls for all of your Lightroom settings, and I wasn't really sold at first. They sent me one of these, and I'm very happy they did. I guess my history with this is that, like, a long time ago, it was not even Loupedeck. It was just me trying to hack together a MIDI controller, a DJ MIDI controller, and I had one of the platters was set to exposure, one was set to white balance, and then I had plus and minus for black point, and those are really the only things that I was changing while I was editing. This gives you complete control to everything, and it's instant. So the issue with my past efforts, I guess, was that you'd change exposure and then it would take a half second to actually adjust and, like, for everything to go through and process and kick it out on the screen. With this, everything is pretty much instant. So one of my issues, I guess, with Lightroom and just being on the road and working with such a small computer is the fact that you're editing from that thumbnail that's kind of like inside of all of these different panels in Lightroom. But with this, you just hit this screen mode button and you go into full screen mode, and then you're just able to edit. Like, all of your controls are here. You don't need to slide any dials. So let's, I guess, begin going through these. I'm gonna start with the thing, if you've been a follower of this channel for a while, you know that every single one of my images I shoot on, like, kind of a 2, 3, 5% slant. And my biggest, I guess, time suck in Lightroom is really just adjusting and straightening images. And even if you set it to a hotkey, that it pops up in the mode and you still have to kind of like drag, and it doesn't take long, but it takes a second or 2 seconds on every single image over time. With this Loupedeck, this button, the biggest button on the Loupedeck, is actually set to just rotating images. So it just knocks you into crop mode, and then instantly you're cropping and changing the image. So that is now a straight image, and all you have to do is spin it, and whenever you're ready to kind of like commit to it, you just hit the button in, which is, I think, for me, even like if I just had this button, the entire product would kind of be worth it, as far as just productivity and time saving over time, which is, I guess, kind of the way that I would be justifying this product in my mind. The other amazing thing, beyond everything that's kind of cool happening, is that when you hit the buttons, you can set all the preset buttons up here, preset 1 through 8, to just apply your preset. So this is my subtle preset. If you're a Patreon member, you can get this preset now. I would say that subtle is pretty much the preset that I'm using for absolutely everything. And once you get into it, it's like the learning curve on this, I feel like, is kind of zero, that you're just like changing exposure and then changing black point, and I would call that image ready to, like, pretty much done. Maybe add a little bit of temperature to it, and that's it. Next image. Usually how this would go is, or traditionally for like an engagement session, is that everything for the most part would be in kind of sections. So I'd be editing section by section. In this specific instance, everything is kind of a little bit more random. It's from a bunch of shoots over the past maybe month or so. So this one's from Positano, and I will put the 2019 color preset on it. And I'm going to add a little bit of black point and a little bit of exposure, and I'm gonna find that kind of that happy point right there. All right, I'm gonna hit subtle because I feel like that is the one for this. Although there are a lot of greens, so Mexico would also work. Mexico is another preset that's in Patreon, but it is, I think, more for destination weddings, more for the colors that you would experience kind of in those situations. But here in, I forget where we were, Ravallo, is, I don't know, also greens as well. So happy with that. So moving along here, very, very quick edits. This one, I feel like subtle might not be the official one for me here. I might try something like that. Summer 2018, cool. I find that cool presets tend to perform better in kind of like urban city environments. And yeah, happy with that. Moving along. And I've set this C5 button here. The button that I use the most in Lightroom is just my previous button when editing. So by hitting that button, it just brings over the settings from the last image. And I feel like somewhere there is probably pretty good. Bring the highlights back a little bit on this just to get a little more of the buildings in the background. But again, like, once you have the exact look that you want, it's very quick just to go previous and then make the small adjustments image to image. So we're back to, I guess, outside of a city environment. So I'm gonna try my subtle preset here. And pretty much all I'm gonna do is bump up the exposure and down the black point. If you've watched any of my YouTube tutorials in the past, that's pretty much all I do to most photos. And that is all I had to do to that photo, and I am quite happy with it. This is an outdoor photo. This is from my, my Z6, which might do funny things as far as colors go. We'll find out. It actually worked. So I guess it's been patched now. The Z6 was giving me some struggles kind of just on release. And I think just those three exposure up, a little bit of black point down, and then temperature just a little bit warmer, and 3 dials. And I can easily copy that kind of to the next photo here that's in similar lighting conditions, but a little bit different as far as actual direction goes. And I'm gonna dial back the green maybe just on their skin a little bit. The other thing you can do is you have complete control over all of your colors here as far as hue, saturation, and luminance go. So you can be changing literally everything from this board. And just the ability to just quickly be in saturation for yellows and to have control over that super quickly is something that I really haven't been able to experiment too much with actually in Lightroom, because it's kind of difficult to scroll down, find the thing you want to find, click through to yellow, click the saturation and drag it around. But here it's just super simple to kind of get everything together. If you are somebody that wants to make your own presets, I feel like this is kind of how you just sit down and you just customize something and make it completely your own and completely exactly what you want. Exposure up, black point down, maybe a little bit of temperature. Cool. Super happy with that. Moving on to the next one. I could copy from before, set up my C5. Yeah, quite happy with that. Maybe bring the highlights down just a little bit. Other than that, ready to go. This is super easy. And it's been criticized. This is my little slant, so crop activated. Add my subtle preset. A little more black point. The other cool thing, I guess, is that you can kind of almost be like a little DJ, and you can do both of these at once. That you can actually change multiple things. When you're with a mouse, you're very much on one specific line. With here, you can kind of do a little bit of both if you want, or just quickly hop from slider to slider. All right, this is from the Leica Q2. All right, now we're in Rome, using the same subtle preset, a little bit of exposure, down black point. But by the time the image actually 100% loads for me, you can pretty much have all your corrections kind of done, and then it just loads in the actual final image. Subtle preset, a little bit of temperature, highlights down, exposure up. Quite happy with that. Cool, and this is from yesterday, and I feel like I'm gonna do the subtle preset once again. A little bit of exposure, a little bit of black point, temperature, and then by the time my Lightroom actually loads the image, I'm going to say that this image is going to look a little bit different than my traditional images. Cool, I like that. I might warm it up just a little bit. This is a very interesting, this is the first time I've looked at it, so might even feel like this might be an Instagram image. This was from last night, and I'm very, very happy with it. I haven't decided, so the little light orb that you can see on the side is actually Marshall holding my off-camera light. I may or may not get rid of that. We'll see. And this is the wide shot of it, and again, I feel like this is a 2019 V2, so again, these presets are available on Patreon. You can also get a 10% off code for this Loupedeck here as well if you are interested in it, because it is a super cool tool. And then back to this Screamo. So overall, I am super happy with this product, and I'm excited to get into it more over time, specifically for color correction in Premiere. That's something for me that I've always just struggled a bit. It's just never been an organic, easy experience, even with the new controls that came out a year or two ago. I think that this is going to be kind of the way that I can get into actual proper color correction and taking a little bit more control over my footage. So that video will come in the future, but for now, if you're a wedding photographer, this is definitely a good investment to speed up your workflow and to add just I don't know, it's a little bit, you get to do stuff. It's kind of makes it fun again. And I know that maybe that doesn't matter, that it's kind of fun again, but it really does. There's a small fun factor that comes along with it as well. So hopefully this helped you, and I hope that you're having a great week wherever you are in the world. And I will see you again another time on another video. It's really hot in here. I'm gonna turn on the air conditioning. See you next time.